Coming up.
By virtue of having worked in the corporate space for, 2+ decades, I think there's just been a lot of lessons and learnings that I've also picked from there. Sometimes people fear change, but change is actually all part of the process of growth.
Right.
Do you wake up on a Monday and you're dreading and you're just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to the office,
You're speaking about me.
Yeah, and we've been there. Even me, I've been there. I've completely been there. Are there solutions? Yes. Are there people that you can work with? Yes. And I think that's part of the reason also why mentor circle conversations exist.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to season 2 of Women for Excellence. I am so excited to be back here. I know it's taken us some time, but we appreciate your patience. We appreciate the love we've been getting. We've been getting so many emails, a lot of people who want to come on to the podcast. We appreciate the love so much. And for those who have stuck through with us, we are always available to you on our socials at Women for Excellence. So be sure to follow, like, subscribe. It's going to be an exciting season. We're on a new set with a new crew. Okay, some of them. And we're also going to be giving you just a little bit more leadership. So be sure to be tuned in week after week in this season. Right. As for me, I am Myra Maloba, and I am reintroducing myself again as a mother, a wife, a media owner, as well as the host of this particular podcast. And I'm so excited to do this because we always amplify the voices of women who are creating leadership, and especially the image and voice of leadership wherever they are, whether it's at the home, it's at the office, it's in front of the republic, wherever it is, they are lending the voice to women who probably are never seen or heard. So every time we have a woman represented here, they have something important to say because of how much experience they've had. And week by week, we take the time to listen, to learn, as well as interact. So today, allow me to introduce my guest. And I've had conversations with her before, so this is going to be fun because we're going to be looking back as well as talking about the different facets of work life and how to balance it. Thank you so much for being with us, Jane Mburia.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, excited to have you again. Now, I always love when people tell their own story, but I can just tell a little bit about you from your bio. Now, Jane Mburia is a seasoned banking executive and a purpose-driven, impact-focused marketplace leader. She is an accredited specialist in customer experience management and a proven change catalyst with over 20 years of experience in the financial service sector, spanning both local and multinational institutions. Now, Jane is a CEO and principal consultant of Lead Insights Africa Consulting, a firm dedicated to delivering tailor-made and innovative solutions designed to meet clients' unique needs. Jane is deeply passionate about people and leadership with a commitment to creating sustainable impact. She is the founder of Mentor Circle Conversations platform that focuses on developing, empowering, mentoring, coaching, and training professionals in the marketplace. Jane treasures family and friendship and has a deep love of nature, travel, and her pet dogs. Love that. Now, above all, Jane is a devoted Christian and believer who attributes her life through the different seasons and all her achievements to God Almighty. She believes in adding value, in making a positive difference, whether big or small, through purposeful leadership, service, and impacting lives meaningfully. Amazing.
Thank you.
Now, Jane, I've read out your bio, but I think it'd be great if you also introduced yourself in your own words.
Okay. I think you've said it all, and thank you once again, Myra, for having me on this podcast and also for creating a platform where women can come and share their stories and experiences. And as somebody who is very, very passionate about empowering people generally, and especially women in the marketplace, I think this is an absolute great initiative that you're carrying out.
Thank you.
So once again, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be on this platform. And I'm seated here by virtue of not having arrived, but still becoming, still evolving, still morphing into all that and who God has created me to be. And so you have done a wonderful introduction, and thank you for that. But if I was to summarize that into just a few words, I'd say that Jane Mburia is, yes, a marketplace leader, a change catalyst, recently published author of a book around women in leadership, where we were sharing our insights and experiences around leadership and what we've learned, about our journeys within leadership. A mentor and a coach. I'm very, very passionate, like I said, about empowering professionals in the marketplace, or even just generally people. Whether you're in business, whether you are in the corporate space, and by virtue of having worked in the corporate space for, 2+ decades, I think there's just been a lot of lessons and learnings that have also picked from there. There have been days that were challenging. How did we manage to navigate? There were days that felt like a high or confusing. How did we manage to, get around all those different experiences into leadership? And so for me, it's my way of pouring out and also being part of the solution of shaping and contributing towards raising value-based and purpose-driven or ethical leaders, both locally and across the continent. Yeah, we can complain that leadership is this and that, or we can complain about our bosses and about different things happening around us. But, so this is my part or my way of contributing towards how do we change the narrative around what the workplace experiences can be and what leadership should be or can be. And also, how do we also create the best version of ourselves, within the workspace? I think many people, do you wake up on a Monday and you're dreading and you're just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to the office, You're
speaking about me.
Yeah, and we've been there. Even me, I've been there. I've completely been there. And, but you show up, smile. Maybe you're even, it's even harder if you're leading a team, because now you have to be strong for everybody. You have to be, keep your emotions also stable, And so, we are saying all that, as much as there are all those challenges, and there's also the good side of things, how then are we able to navigate when the challenges do come? Are there solutions? Yes. Are there people that you can work with? Yes. And I think that's part of the reason also why Mentor Circle Conversations exists.
Now let's start with defining some keywords. What is leadership to you?
So that's a good question. Leadership to me, first and foremost, is not a title. Unfortunately, today, many people are walking around, wanting to be a leader or be promoted into leadership because of the title.
CEO,
CFO.
The
Chairman.
The titles are always so important.
Boss, director. And all those are really good. And it's fine to have those titles. But really, leadership is really a privilege that we've been given and a responsibility that, you carry as an individual. Leadership is service to people and those that you've been called to, or the communities that you are supposed to be having impact, towards. But by definition, what leadership really is, it is, I'd say it is the ability to influence.
It
really is influence, the ability to influence, to inspire, to motivate a collective group of people, towards achieving a shared goal or a vision, and especially in this day and age, we're saying, what is that would be a vision that would create some impact or good impact, or positively change the environment around you, the community around you, the organization or corporate or business or wherever. Leadership is, being that role model, in the right way. And for me, I'm very particular about, is it value-based? Are you purpose-driven? Are you doing it to people that, as a steward of that space that you've been given to lead? Are you leaving that space in a better place than you found it? What has changed? What has improved? Around that. There is a difference between leadership and management. So management, yes, while they are closely related, and for most leaders, when they get somewhere, they've probably managed something, But within an organization, the context around a manager is that, yes, theirs is they're more around the process, the planning around it, coordinating, budgeting, making sure that controlling the resources around something to get now that vision achieved. So you're not thinking long-term or visionary as a leader. So a leader will say, we want to be able to transform this company to raise, say, okay, let me just put a figure there, $100 million by this date. The in-betweens there are what now the manager does. So how do we get to that 100 million profit? Or what do we need to organize? Who are the people who need to do that? But so a leader in themselves needs to be able to be that person who will show and inspire the team, show the way and inspire the team towards achieving that goal or vision that you have and you carry. And a lot of it requires that you're selfless and you have service.
I like that you said that, selfless and a sense of service.
And a sense of service.
Because a lot of leaders look at themselves at the point where you are here to work for me, you are here to do what I need, you're here to serve me.
Absolutely. Bossing around.
Bossing around. But I like that you said it's, when you're a leader, you have to have a sense of service, that you are not only serving your clients, but also the people around you, so that to be able to get the most productivity out of them.
And the only way you can be able to do that, you have to inspire them towards that, motivate them towards that, give some incentives, encourage them, tell them, it's hard, but we can do this. So a lot of the stuff, and you'll find that in workspaces that have a lot of wellness or employee sort of engagements that encourage that. Unfortunately, very few organizations focus on the greatest asset, which are the people.
Although they might say we do team building,
we buy pizza on a Friday.
Yes, they're saying we are doing what we want for the people so that they're okay once a week, or once a month.
And I mean, to be fair, even those ones are fatherly. Let's just say they're trying.
They're trying.
A once a week pizza to say well done.
Yes.
That's at least an initiative where you can see we feel recognized and appreciated. But beyond that, how do we make that sustainable? Where as an employee or in the workplace, I feel valued. I am seen. Everybody is a human being, and we also go through challenges. We have mental stress. We've come from a home where maybe, things are just not working out right. People are going through a lot of stress. Parents are unwell that you're taking care of. You're concerned and anxious. Within our different workspaces, as a business owner or as a corporate or an organization, how am I, sort of taking care of my people and employees and the workers who are to deliver this great 100 million profit target. To be able to deliver that without feeling distracted because there are all these issues that are going on around them. And so, you'll find that at least these days, there's a lot of sensitization around, how do we create a safe space for our employees? One, if they're having, all sorts of issues, anxieties, whatever, there's a space, there's an outlet. They should be able to share that. They can come to Myra as their line manager and say, I'm actually having this issue,
Right.
and, can I get some time off to take care, and all that. We just need to be more humane, and see
Right.
people as people first
Yes.
before the 100 million target we must achieve by next month.
And I mean, things have changed. Things have changed. Even our kids, they usually ask for time off nowadays. They're like, school is bogging me down. I need time.
I know.
And now you need to listen to them. It's just changed, and we need to change with the times. Now, away from that, the other keyword is mentorship.
Right.
How do you define that?
Yeah. So mentorship, in a very basic layman term, is, you're walking or you're receiving guidance from someone who has walked that path before. Yeah. So, and this is not only professionally, it could
Right.
be even in any other area of life.
Right.
And it's highly encouraged that, especially now with the kind of, fast-paced, competitive, and all the stresses that are going on, sometimes we get to a point in our lives where we feel confused. Others are going through a lot of changes, and I
Right.
keep saying, especially at the beginning of the year, a number of corporates went through a lot
Right.
of changes.
Yeah.
People were promoted, or others had to step into the shoes of someone who has resigned and left. So you may be in a position where you're saying, I'm not very sure. I know I'm supposed to get to point B.
Right.
I am here at point A, starting off zero, new job, new corporate space, new business. I have left employment. I'm now transitioning into business. Where do I start? Yeah. It's always good to look for a mentor. So
Right.
the mentor is that voice or that person who, it's a safe space, non-judgmental. They'll walk with you. They'll teach you. They are a form of a teacher who will teach you, guide you,
Right.
encourage you, tell you, to get to B, you can turn this way, turn left, right. But this is how we go about it. And they'll show you how to go about that different space that you're navigating. Yeah.
Now, a little bit about you. What led you to the space that you're in right now? You've first started off in banking, worked for all these amazing banks.
Yeah.
And you said you were in the customer experience, customer experience expert within your field. What got you there in the first place? And then what made you leave and go into consulting?
Okay, all right. Yeah, like I said, it's been a journey, and the journey is still going on. But I remember I think I had a desire even from campus to get into the financial services space. Maybe not necessarily as an accountant or an auditor. I think there was a time in our season back then, if you're, once you finish fourth form, or, you start college like this, there's a window where everyone was running to do CPAs.
Yes.
or computer programming. So,
yes.
there are all those options.
Yeah.
I remember, I think I did computer programming. But back to how I got into banking in the first place. So I had always desired to become a banker, whether I understood what it meant or not. And so I remember one time, every time I used to go home, and that time we lived somewhere closer, Mombasa Road, and that area, and we had to pass through Upper Hill. And on the highway, I used to see on my ride home, I used to see the Citigroup logo in Upper Hill. And I used to speak to myself and say, one day I will work in that bank. I didn't know how or what.
Out of all the banks, I said Citigroup is the one
I think because it was the one that every day I was passing, I don't know. But somehow I just, And I think, so sometime we had a career day at the campus, and all these corporates came. And of course, who are there? Citigroup. And they said, we are taking interns, at some point. And I was like, I'm getting closer to my dream.
Yeah.
But as life would have it, we all think that life is a straight line. Go to campus, get a job, blah, blah. Of course, I went for those interviews. I didn't make it. So I'm thinking my dream has been busted. But anyway, I managed to get internship in a different bank. At that time, it was Barclays. But the long and short of it is that I had a dream.
Right.
And I visualized it at some point. I didn't know how I'll get there, and it's to encourage those that also have a dream and they are on that journey. If you desire to work in some space or kind of some sector, but have that dream anyway, and work yourself towards it, inch in closer. And so eventually after internship, and by the grace of God, I really thank God for that, a door opened for me to now finally get into employment.
Right.
And I managed now to get into Citigroup eventually, which was a very good starting point for employment, and boot camp. It's a space you really work hard. I think in any financial sector across,
But you felt
I
it
worked
the
there.
most.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we were learning, and it was a busy space, but a very, very good learning ground and a good space,
Right.
And so the journey continued. Of course, we move around as bankers, and I moved into now other banks, way after that. But I want to say that even in moving, what helps is that as you move and as you grow, then it creates an opportunity for you to go higher, to learn, to learn the different environments, to get into a new role, and you learn. Sometimes people fear change, but change is actually all part of the process of growth.
Right.
And I always say, for those who are aspiring growth in any area, whether it's in work, career, or business, change is inevitable. Growth doesn't come from comfort zones. You have to be ready to step out. You have to be ready to get uncomfortable to grow. Right. And to get into that space. So I entered banking, and of course got exposed to various roles within retail, operations, customer experience, and also dealing with clients.
Right.
And and even when I was within the bank as a leader, I was that kind of leader that also really liked working with people and empowering teams. And I think that's what I'm saying. The passion has always been there to develop people, develop leaders.
Right.
Me, as my own experiences where I wished somebody held my hand or walked with me, so sometimes it's also inspired by that.
Right.
If I didn't have that back then, and how did that impact me? And along my journey, even across the different banks, I did have a mentor, one or two great bosses, or I'd call them leaders, but managers who held my hand and worked with me. And I saw the impact of that, who saw potential in me and drew it out. And it really facilitated or accelerated my journey into leadership. And so that is something that I would...
Sorry, did you identify them yourself as... Because, I've heard a number of people talk about it, and I'm just like, why didn't I think about getting a mentor before?
I know.
But how did you go? Did you approach them yourself?
Okay.
And say, this is somebody would like to mentor me? How was it for you? Because again, it's not easy identifying one and then working with them. How did you identify a mentor that was good for you?
Yeah. So I know, and we also hear this a lot. Sometimes it may look or feel intimidating just walking up to Myra and saying, I want you to mentor.
Exactly.
So I think the fact that, and I'd speak about maybe one of the managers that I worked with. Yeah. It sort of just happened by virtue of proximity and having been in her space, working in her department. Right. Yeah. But she was the right kind of leader who one saw potential and wanted to nurture it. You see, I've worked for both the kind of leaders that are challenging, and then now those that pay attention and they see potential and they're seeing this one, and they even give you hard things to do. At that time, you're even saying, "Why are you picking me? Why not pick David or Priscilla? I don't want this." But it's in that space, and that's why I'm saying how growth can feel uncomfortable. Yeah. But if you're in the right space and the right environment with the right leader, they are grooming you for greater things. Right. Yeah. So in that space, you have to be able to identify a mentor. Yes, there is the option of seeing, okay, so maybe you're working in a certain department, and in these engagements within that business or organization, there's a particular individual that you look at and you admire how they work, how they relate with people, maybe even how they just carry themselves around. And there is no harm creating some rapport or some engagement. Yeah, you observe, you learn by observing.
Right.
So we encourage that, and especially if it's an environment that encourages mentorship, I think you will receive what you ask for. So if I come up to you and say, Myra, I'm planning to become a risk and compliance manager one day.
Yeah.
I notice you're in that department. I'd love to learn some more. So you open yourself up to somebody realizing, oh, she's actually very interested. Jane is interested in risk and compliance. Yeah, sure. You'll be surprised at their response. So some people, because of fear, they don't ask, then they don't get. but then
mentorship can also be a bit tricky, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get a mentor who doesn't pass on the best traits. You can be toxic, can be negative. Is there usually, since you're in the mentorship field, is there a danger of running into the wrong kind of mentor?
Yes, it's possible, but that's if you didn't take time. You have a choice as to who should have access to your life, who should speak into your life.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, of course, it's different if, for example, there is an organization running a program on mentorship and you're told, Jane, you will sit with Susan. She will be your mentor. Now, you see, that has been chosen for me.
Yes.
So we always encourage that. And we do run mentorship programs where you're supposed to match the mentors and the mentees.
Okay.
And matching them is, different aspects. It could be personality. Is it by the role? Is it, by the kind of leadership journey that they want? But even in that space, we would expect that the department or the function that's running that or creating a mentorship program, of course, knows their people. They're picking the kind of leaders who will exemplify the attributes or role model what they would want the other people to come up to be developed into, the kind of leaders that they want to be developed into. So I mentioned one is to directly walk up into a leader that you admire. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah. It could be even a leader who is within your organization or even outside your organization. But you're like, you know what? I really admire so-and-so. Let me see if I can reach out to them. It could be a relative who, you're seeing they're successful and you want to find out, how did you make it?
Right.
But they have to be doing something that, has created some achievements where you're like, I want that for my life because this is the kind of difference or impact I want on my own life.
Right.
You don't go to somebody who is not showing the attributes that you want. You can't walk up to someone toxic. You stay away from it. Doesn't matter. And there's a difference between being competent in your role and the work that you're doing and a person and their character.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to have both. Are they a person of character? Are they nurturing? Somebody who is a very senior person or leader doesn't necessarily want to mentor or can be a mentor because their character is very different.
Right.
Yeah. So I think in terms of mentorship, you can identify somebody that you want. You can engage also your HR function or the people around you to say, hey, I'm actually very interested in this line of work or interested in doing this and this. Could you connect me, with so and so? Sometimes it's even these days, there's a lot going on YouTube. You can learn from a personality that you admire and just listen to their podcasts, their whatever. But it is encouraged to have somebody like that.
Yeah, because, I've seen both sides of the spectrum. I've seen people who have worked with in positivity.
Yes.
But I've also seen people who have taken on that mentorship role, but have use their position of influence
to abuse.
So it's always that thing of, how do I ascertain as to this person is truly looking out for my best interests?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that will need a part 2 into that conversation.
Will need a part 2. But I'd say observe, and then even the Bible says, the good book says, you will know them by their fruits. If their fruits out there are dodgy, and you're hearing all sorts of scandals and whatever, that's fruit, unfortunately. So people have to be consistent, either as a leader or in their character, for you to be able to see this is good ground to work with.
Well, we need to take a small break, drink a little bit of water, and get a word from our sponsors. We'll be back after this. Are you looking for a comfortable stay in Westlands? Well, Bahari Palace Apartments is truly the place for you. These service apartments are perfect for business or leisure, for awesome restaurant and bar experiences, free Wi-Fi, housekeeping. Your standby generator is always on check, also CCTV and 24-hour security. Everything you need is all in one place. All you need to do is call 0717-551-305 or email faharipalaceapartments.com or accounts@faharipalaceapartments.com. You want the perfect place to stay? Book today.